Better Food started in 1992, but it started as a little outfit in my back kitchen called Phil's Better Food Campaign.
Okay.
That kind of says something about the motivations behind it. It was more about trying to campaign for a better food system and enable people to purchase and to make change with their feet, as it were, with their purse. That was kind of the driving factor, and it was all about food justice, getting farmers a fair deal and giving them a marketplace in the city, and getting people in the city to appreciate where that food comes from and what it takes to grow organic carrots or whatever. And we grew. Went from one little warehouse to a bigger warehouse to a bigger warehouse to a bigger warehouse, and then eventually to our St Werburgh's, which actually when we moved into it was a bit more like a warehouse than anything else. We moved into St Werburgh's in 2002, so 10 years after the company started. And that very same year we also took on Barleywood Walled Gardens and started growing. So we were growing, wholesaling, box scheme, home delivery and a cafe, and it all got a bit too much. And so the more I analysed the figures, the more I realised I needed to cut something to progress it, and I decided to take out home delivery and just go for retail. And anybody who knows home delivery knows that it's a real tough nut to crack. So St Werburgh's grew and grew, and then we decided we would take a foray back into wholesale, and not so much home delivery but just a box scheme. So really simple, one product, and we managed to make that really successful. And then we opened White Ladies Road, and at the same time as doing that we helped being the operative word, to found the community farm, which is where we had moved our growing site. And that's going really well to this very day, and we have a very strong trading relationship with them. We went back into being a retail-only company, and that was partly my design, that I wanted to have less diversity and more focus. And so we made the second shop, built the second shop up, made it work, and 6 years on we decided, okay, let's go for a third store, and here we are. So the first one was very much a generic general store, and we used to call it the organic supermarket. White Ladies Road was half the size and much more of a food hall, with the same commitment to organic and local, and still really promoting the importance of the link between the producer and the consumer, and making sure that the producer got a fair price.
Why are you here?
It's a slightly changed proposition, because we've got, in any place you go, you always have to think about, have you got different audiences? There's a core to all of them that has the same audience. It's people who know that they want organic food and will seek it out. That's our core market in all places. Beyond that, we have a convenience, which everybody knows is part of what we're all doing on high streets now. That we're providing an alternative style of shopping experience with our own commitment to organic and local. That's also providing a real convenience for people on their way, commuters on their way home. So we have 7,000 people pass come across this bridge just here every day on their way into the city or out on their way home. And that's a very, very important part of our new market. And then we've got lots of new flats above us, and we've got the Harbourside Leisure Fraternity just on our doorstep. More kind of weekends, really. A think we've learned so much from the stores in different ways, and this is the first time that we've put serious investment into a store beyond, I'd almost call brick, barrel and steel, not quite, but it was coming from a very different place, really well thought through, really well planned, a very different kind of team. So I have a senior management team who have helped to make sure that we're ready to take on more stores and do it in a really good way. I'd be lost without them. We've taken a lot more time and care to design it to make sure that it works for what it's here for, which is providing 3 different markets with a really great local organic shop. We're still as committed as ever to building community. We see that as absolutely primary to our work, is engaging with the local communities. And in terms of the offer, this is the biggest percentage of space in any one of our stores given over to catering. So this area here represents over a third, probably about 40% of the store size. I personally would say that it's the reverse. I would say that retail is easier than catering in terms of making it really work well commercially. For us, it's more than just a commercial proposition. You have conversations in cafes in a way that you don't in shops. You engage with communities in a way that you can't in shops. Much, what do I need for my supper? It's a convenience store. And something, Jim, that I think that everybody needs to start talking about in the independent sector is that the supermarkets have done us an enormous favour in that they started coming into the city with their convenience stores at the detriment to their out-of-town stores. They've helped facilitate a strong change in people's shopping habits. They are. If you look at the growth patterns in the independent sector in organic and natural foods, and I'm sure it's the same in a lot of foods, they are growing. I don't know whether it's changed yet, but until very recently, butcher shops were on the decline still. In my view, if they aren't, they certainly should be turning back and going up, because I believe if we do it right, the people are there on the high streets already, and if your offer is good, they'll come and visit you instead of going to the supermarkets. So look at how cities have changed. They've become so dense and people's lifestyles have changed so fundamentally in terms of their working patterns and stuff. Who has freezers in big freezers in their house these days? People used to have chest freezers. Everybody used to have chest freezers. They don't anymore. So there's just more emphasis on daily shopping, and the cafe culture, it fits very nicely alongside that. I'm off out for coffee or just live across the road to the bakers or whatever. All that stuff has changed. So, and obviously they want to grab the entire market. They're ruthless bastards. They want the high streets themselves, but obviously they can't monopolise them in the same way as they monopolise the out-of-town markets and that scale of shopping. So I think we've got a real win-win here, and we should really exploit it as much as possible at their expense. And no retailer should be thinking of opening 9 to 5 or closing Mondays or Wednesday afternoon off, or those days are just so far gone. You have to do what fit in with the convenience of people's lifestyles. What we try to do is and you'll see it as you go around, is to make sure that we are as affordable as possible. So we have a lot of deals and things to make ourselves more accessible. But the key is without compromising our farmers' margin. So a big one for us at the moment is milk. We're doing a litre of milk, organic milk, at £2 and we do that at our expense in terms of margin. So we cut our margin to an absolute wafer so that the farmers can still get a really good price for it. And we make decisions about certain things that we want people to have access to. It's that convenience market. People need to pick up things like that on their way home. And of course we want to make the margin up elsewhere. And we work ways of making sure that we do, because we've got to make the business work. You'll never, when you're in the organic and specialist food market, you will never win the argument on price alone. What I always encourage us to do is to say, let's look at the values behind the product and ask people when they're looking at the price to explore what's behind the price. So look beyond the price before you condemn it on price alone, basically. It's all that thing of fair for all, we want it to be fair for our farmers, fair for our staff, and fair for our customers.